All right, that is all coming up. But our next guest is one of the most in-demand wedding celebrants in the country. But if you'd like to have Josh Withers help you say I do, he has one strict condition: no boring weddings. And Josh joins me now from Brisbane. Good morning to you, Josh.
Good morning, Lisa.
Now, first up, you have to tell us, what do you define as a boring wedding?
A boring wedding is just one that doesn't feel right. We've all been there. You know, the wedding where if you just took out their names and you put someone else's names, it just wouldn't feel right. It doesn't feel like it's their friend, their friends or their culture or their feel. You know the ones.
So it doesn't feel personal enough, you mean?
Exactly, it doesn't feel personal enough. And that's why you've got to choose a really awesome celebrant. I'm the guy that's in charge of how boring your wedding isn't.
All right, okay. Now, let's go through some of the weddings that you have conducted that fall into the not boring category. You conducted Australia's first Twitter wedding. It was called a twedding. You're going to have to explain that one for us, because 140 characters would limit things, I would have thought.
Well, there were a few tweets going back and forth. The hashtag twedding. I was in Port Macquarie and I was working there at the time, and the couple were in Perth, and all their friends were right across Australia and even some internationals. And we thought, what's the best way to do that? And you know, we were all Twitter addicts, and so we did it on Twitter. I said, repeat after me, and they'd tweet what I just tweeted. It was so much fun. And of course, you know, legally it can't happen on Twitter, so we did all that afterwards. But yeah, just hashtagging it on Twitter, and it's the only wedding I've done where everyone had to make sure their phones were on.
Right, yes. It's probably going to solve a few problems at a lot of weddings. Now, another one of your favourite weddings was a Halloween wedding. Tell us about that.
Ray and Linda were so cool. They actually wanted to surprise all their family and their guests at their annual, you know, family Halloween get-together, just a barbecue, and everyone dresses up, really a lot of fun. But then halfway through the party, I surprised everyone and said, would everyone come up here? And we married Ray and Linda, and there was so much fun. Such a lovely couple. They were a witch and a warlock. I was a monk, and everyone else was dressed. The kids were were dressed up in Halloween, and they led them in, and the funnest wedding I've done so far. It was so much good.
Some people would say when a couple needs to put on so much show, they might be making up for a lack of something else in the relationship. What do you say to that?
Yeah, I don't want to get too unprofessional, but I wouldn't disagree. In fact, some of the best weddings that I've been to and that I've officiated over are the ones that are simple, and not simple as in they're just on a field by themselves, but they're just simple, and the couple are really casual because they're not making up for anything, and they're celebrating that core thing, which is the fact that that mystery of love, and they're getting married, which is such an awesome thing today, and it's important. I think marriage is one of the most important threads in the fabric of society, and it should be celebrated. But it's not a sitting of Parliament or a funeral or a church service. It's a wedding. It should be so much fun.
So, having been to as many weddings as you have been, what would you say are a couple of really strong tips to make a great day?
It's really simple. First of all, question everything, in my opinion. Whether it's having a bridal party, I can tell you that having a bridal party comes from an old tradition where we'd hope that evil spirits wouldn't attack the bride and groom, so we'd have duplicates there. You know, so question, why are you having a bridal party? Why are you having an aisle? Why are you having any of these things that every other wedding has? And it's fine to have them, just as long as you've got a reason and you've questioned it. So that's the first one. And the second tip I'd give is to look at your family and look at your culture, and then look at other cultures and see whether the way that they celebrate and the way that they party, whether that can work for your wedding.
Okay, well, there's some really good advice there. That's fascinating stuff. Josh, thank you very much for that.
Thanks, Lisa.
Wow, I never knew that. That's what a bridal party is. You've got duplicates there. So if all of a sudden you decide on the day, look, she was going to be the one I was going to marry, but gee, that chief's bridesmaid is looking cute. You could just
Or was it
solve everything.
that if you came under attack from a rival tribe,
yes,
that they knocked someone else off before they knocked you off?
Well,
so that's why you're the best man at a wedding, because you take the bullet.
Would be the best man for the job.
Makes a lot of sense, doesn't it?
Wow. Question everything.
See, you learn so many things watching the Today Show.
So good.